All right, back with you on the Dave Elswick Show, 9 o'clock hour. And the first 2 hours are in the book, and they were good hours. I hope that you've been with us since 7 o'clock, that you got to listen to. We talked a lot of different things in those 2 hours. We talked about, Carlton Wing is moving out of his state seat early, and there's a candidate that they're interested in seeing taking his place. We talked about, political theory, which I like to do quite a bit of, and it's a lot of fun. What's up, Steve?
The headphones don't work.
Oh, they don't
okay,
work. There's a couple other things that probably don't work in this studio. Okay, it's because we're getting ready to move. We're moving over by party time on Rodney Parham. That's where we're going to be our new location. Not that we don't like being here, but when I heard how much they were paying to be here, I said, "Why are we here?" Just to be honest. So it's going to be a great money saving for the radio station. I'm good and I'm happy about that. I had told you Carlton Wing was coming in this hour. It's next hour that he's going to be here. So we'll be talking to him. Carlton left the state legislature and became the head honcho over at AETN. So we're going to talk to him about that, because I don't know if you saw the story yesterday or not, but the Corporation of Public Broadcasting shut their doors yesterday. They're not getting any more, thank God, they're not getting any more government money to do radio and TV. And I've been arguing this since its inception, since one of my college professors was one of the big muckety-mucks that got it started back in 1971. His name was Netherton, and he just passed away a few months ago. But you can imagine how well he and I got along in class when we talked about using government money to do radio. No. Not necessary. Absolutely not necessary. Shows like, Firing Line and all that's all well and good. And I picked that particularly just so that the left will leave me alone, saying, yeah, you just want to get rid of what the left wants to do. Well, if it's a government show, they shouldn't be doing something left or right. It should be right down the middle. And they didn't do that. I dare you, sit down just for a week, duct tape yourself to a chair, and listen to All Things Considered, and you tell me that that's the way America feels. It's nothing like it, and nothing like it at all. So we'll pick that up next hour. I don't want to take all this hour. One of my foibles that I have at times is chasing rabbits. I want to talk about. I want to talk to you about Mandani, all right? And Enrico's here, and of course he represents is it right to say the Jewish population of Arkansas?
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay. Yeah. And let's talk a little bit, because he when he was sworn in, he said that we were moving away from rugged individualism to the warm hug of collectivism. Folks, if you buy that, you're on dangerous turf. I'm just telling you, you're on really dangerous turf. Plus, he got rid of just about every law that would make anti-Semitism illegal. And how does it make, if you had to go to New York tomorrow, or tonight, you flew in tonight, and you saw the city lit up in green, because this month is going to be, Islam month or whatever they're calling it. And you want to know what the real kicker is that the Freedom Tower that was built on the pad of the Twin Towers, that was brought down by Islamic terrorists, is going to be lit up in green. We don't, everybody asks me, why do you always play those clips about 9/11, Dave, on 9/11? And I always say, because we don't want you to forget. Mm-hmm. Well, can I say that the governor of New York has already forgotten? She's going to light up the Freedom Tower in green. Mm-hmm. I don't get this.
Yeah, one thing that I'm very proud of, the Jewish people are very good at not forgetting, right?
Well,
we're good at remembering.
You can't forget. You forget, you're going to disappear.
We don't have that privilege. We can't forget.
Yeah.
We have to remember constantly. We have to keep reminding ourselves, each and every generation, of the horrors and injustices and that were done to the Jewish people. And, New York and Mamdani is an interesting topic, because I'm one of those people that like always giving people the benefit of the doubt, right? I say, okay, I'll entertain that idea. Let's see how that works. And
let's see how he walks the walk.
Let's see how you walk the walk. And since his sworn in, a lot of things have happened, right? I mean, even the Jewish population in New York is now kind of starting to wake up and they're like, oh, okay, he's backtracking here, right? Like, he said that he was going to protect Jewish people, and his actions show otherwise. So what I did was I looked at not just headlines. I wanted to see, okay, what did he do? So since Mayor Eric Adams' indictment, he canceled all of his executive orders since his indictment back in September 24 or something like that. Now, again, me being me, thinking, okay, maybe, we're talking about 150, 200 executive orders. Maybe
right.
2 of them are related to Jewish people and anti-Semitism. But when you look it up, you realize that it's not 150, 200. It's only 9. You're looking at 9 executive orders that he canceled on his first day in office. And 2 of them relate to Jewish people and anti-Semitism, the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism and the BDS movement. That's not a good look.
No.
That's not a good look at all, right? Out of 9, 2 make it much harder for Jewish people in New York to live in New York, right? And I want to talk about specifically the BDS movement, and I want a lot of people to understand something. As a principle, as a concept, people have the right to protest.
Yeah,
sure. It's protected under their the First Amendment right. But we start walking a very, very slippery road when BDS almost always is tied to violence and increased anti-Semitism. Also, what a lot of people don't understand, because if you study the BDS movement and if you understand what happens when Israeli products are being boycotted, the people who are hurt by it the most are the Palestinian people. Because the vast majority of the workers that work in those factories that produce those Israeli products are either Arab Israeli or Palestinian. Mm-hmm. So when you're supporting the BDS movement, when you're protesting, when you're inciting violence, when you're scaring Jewish people, when you're making people boycott Israel, all you're doing is hurting the Palestinians. And I know Palestinian people in Israel that will tell you the same thing. I had a lot of these conversations say, I don't know what's happening in America on college campuses. People that believe in this BDS movement, you're only hurting Palestinians. You're not hurting Israelis. And if anything, you're helping the Israeli economy, because now Israel has to incentivize more Israelis to work in those factories, right? So you're basically creating more jobs for Israelis. If anything, you're helping the Israeli economy. You're not hurting it. You're hurting the Palestinian people. And I don't want to see the Palestinian people hurt. And that's the difference. People can say, oh, you're anti... I'm not anti-Palestinian. All I want them to do is to stop attacking me.
Right.
That's it. The day they stop attacking me, we will have peace. And trust me, Israel will be the first one to help them build and to help them establish institutions and infrastructure to help them. Just stop attacking me. The deal was there in 1947. right? And they attacked us in 56 and 67 and 70. They kept attacking us constantly, one time after the other. All we want is them to stop attacking us. Now, that's the problem with what Mamdani did. What he's doing is he's hurting the Palestinians. He's not hurting Israel. Israel is not going anywhere. And that's something I want people to understand. Israel is not going anywhere. The whole river to the sea slogan is never going to happen. What do you expect? Do you expect Israel to just fold and say, well, you know what, okay, maybe we don't need to exist? It will never happen. So let's deal with realities. And this is what I tell a lot of people. Are you going to deal with realities, or are you going to just shout out slogans at my face that are not going to do anything? At least not to the Palestinians. So in that sense, Israel takes care of the Palestinians more than any BDS movement across the country here in America, or people that go and shout and scream, globalize the intifada. I'm a first intifada baby, second intifada teenager. You know what intifada means? You want what's happening in Bondi, right? Beach in Australia, and London. The other day, I just saw it, like literally yesterday, I just saw this headline saying a barista in London served a Jewish customer at a coffee shop a cappuccino or a latte with a swastika drawing on it. I'm thinking, guys, where are we going with this?
Right.
Where are we going with this? So Mamdani's first day in office, he makes it harder for Jewish people to live in New York. And now he's also taken actions that are going to make it harder for New Yorkers, just in general, not just Jewish New Yorkers, but New Yorkers to even leave New York.
Well, let me talk about something else that he did. He brought in a gentleman to be the New York City's chief counsel, who has been a Hamas sympathizer for years and years and years. I mean, going back into the 80s. This guy and his group has been helping them. Rami Kazman, Zohan Madani has chosen Mr. Kasem to be his top legal advisor. Quote, I will turn to Ramsey for his remarkable experience and for his commitment to defending those too often abandoned by our legal system, is what Madani said on Tuesday. Does Mr. Mamdani count Ahmed al-Darbi among the abandoned that he talks about? According to the U.S. government, Mr. al-Darbi joined Osama bin Laden's terror network in the late 80s. He worked as a weapons instructor at an al-Qaeda training camp in Afghanistan. He plotted to launch boat-based attacks on Western ships in the Middle Eastern waters. He was arrested by U.S. forces in 2002, sent to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Mr. Kasem was Mr. al-Darbi's lawyer when Mr. al-Darbi pleaded guilty in 2014 to participating in al-Qaeda's bombing of a French oil tanker off the coast of Yemen. Does this sound like a guy that has problem with Jewish people? Yeah, I think so. Big problem.
Sounds about right. Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, it's amazing about all of this. Here's a fun fact for you. Mr. al-Darbi's brother-in-law, Khalid al-Mithdar, was one of the hijackers who flew American Airlines Flight 77 into the Pentagon on September 11th, 2001. It all adds up to a coziness with Islamic radicalism that would enrage anyone with a shred of human decency. If you represent corporations, you are a corporate lawyer. If you represent mobsters, you're a mob lawyer. What are you if you represent terrorists?
I would call you a terrorist.
Yes, so would I. And it's very clear that this guy is a terrorist.
I'm one of those people that I was fairly quiet about Mamdani. I had a few statements about Mamdani, but overall, I wanted to believe in the process, and I wanted to think that, okay, let's see if he walks the walk, right? And I really wasn't as vocal about Mamdani. I didn't engage in any social media, correspondences. I didn't really respond to anything. I just said, let's see what happens. I think we owe it to the American people to see what happens, right? Because whatever happens, we're gonna have to deal with it as a nation.
If I really believed that the American populace would learn something from him being in power, I'd have no problem with it. But I don't think they're going to learn a stinking thing about it.
And now I can tell you that I'm going to keep a very close eye on everything that he's doing, because overall, I think he's bad news. He's a walking bad news. What do you call it? Like the signs you see on the highways.
Yeah.
And everything that he's doing. I mean, you're talking about rugged individualism, buddy. This country was founded on rugged individualism.
It wouldn't be here if it
the
hadn't
reason
been
why
for
you
that.
were able to get elected to be the mayor of the greatest city on planet Earth was thanks to this rugged individualism. So I think there's going to be something's going to happen where he's going to dig his own grave, because he will not be able to keep up his promises. He will not be able to deliver on everything that he was doing. I mean, look, bus prices and train buses, subway prices in New York are already rising.
Well, Hochul admitted that brings millions upon millions of dollars to the New York ability to pay their bills. And she can't give people free rides. She just can't make it happen.
He's also, he has the tendency to want to not be mayor. He deals with issues that are not related to being a mayor.
That's right.
When you're talking about the Venezuelan raid, right? About how it's against federal international. First of all, what is federal international? Like, it's either federal law or international law. It's like, what is federal international law? But it's a silly term to use. But also, it just goes to show that you don't understand what is international law. Who enforces international law, Mamdani? America.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. All right, let's get a break in, then we'll come back and we'll continue our discussion here on the Dave Elswick Show. Let me remind you, PI Roofing is ready to help you if you need a new roof. And you've got a house and you want to talk to them about a roof, they'll do that with you. But they also do business workings as well for businesses, and businesses typically have a lot of flat roofs, and there's a belief out in our country that a flat roof is supposed to leak. Well, no, it's not. It's not supposed to leak at all, and PI Roofing will make sure your flat roof does not leak. They have a way that they go about putting on the materials for you for your roof to protect all of that important inventory that's in your business. Now, what they do want you to do is not call them anymore. They want you to come visit with them on the internet at piroofing.com. piroofing.com. You can do a little talk to people by hooking up with them on the internet, and they can answer your questions and then set up an appointment to come out and look at your problem and see what they have to do to fix it. So the best I can give you is, if you need a new roof for your house, need a new roof for your business, then you need to talk to PI Roofing at piroofing.com. All right, back with you on the Dave Elswick Show. Let's get back to talk about what happened in Venezuela. See, I'm happy as pig in mud about what the president did to this. This guy is a known criminal. Mm-hmm. He's got an open indictment here in the United States, but no other president of the United States would go in and arrest the guy. They didn't have the guts to go do it. President Trump got a hold of his generals and said, this is what we need to do, figure out how to make it happen. And a lot of people may not be aware that they built mock-ups of all the different buildings that they had to go into, so that they could actually go into the mock-ups and practice. And they've been doing that for several months now. Mm-hmm. That's why one of the best videos I saw of it is the helicopters coming in, and somebody had their cell phone and were videotaping it, and you can watch all these helicopters coming in. There's like 50 of them moving across the sky. And they went in. They went into where Madani was. not Madani. Sorry. All right. Maduro was. They busted down the door to his bedroom, and they bum rushed him as he tried to get out of bed and make his way to a safe room, evidently. And he didn't make it, neither did his wife. And then they loaded him up, and they got him out of there.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many bullets hit American helicopters? One.
No casualties.
One, no casualties. They came in. And what's funny is that Maduro was warned by Trump. I remember when he said it, and we talked about it on the air, when he said, hey, look, we'll let you go wherever you want to go. We won't shoot you out of the sky. You take your wife and your child and your family and just get out of Dodge. And you remember Maduro was doing all of the dancing and all that other stuff. From what I understand, that is what really ticked the president off, because he was kind of like thumbing his nose at the president at that point, and the president, put it all into action at that point. And I'm as a military veteran, I'm proud as punch at what our military did. It's a great thing, and it's a great thing for the Western Hemisphere to get that crazy man out of here. I mean, he was inviting the Chinese and the Russians to come in and build on the deep water ports and everything. This was and still is a dangerous time for the United States. The next war won't be fought over just land. It's going to be fought over minerals and things of that nature. I mean, that's what the Chinese want. That's what they need. They don't have the oil. I heard somebody say yesterday that saying that the Chinese are going to attack Taiwan now because of what Trump did. So no, that's not going to happen. Their eye is firmly on on Russia. They want Russian oil. Then they can power their war machine. So we'll have to see. I'm going to see if the guy's got some inside information that I haven't been hearing, and that's what happens. What do you want to? I know you wanted to say some things about Madani, but we've got news. I got to get to the news. I'm late for the news. Let's do that. Get to the news, and then we'll come back with more here on the Dave Elswick Show. All right, back with you. We move back to the Dave Elswick Show. You wanted to talk about Maduro. You wanted to talk about Venezuela.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on it?
First of all, I wanted to give a huge, huge salute to our Deltas. I mean, wow. Talking about tactical brilliance and bravery alone, right? When I was up at night and, I was looking at it and I was seeing the whole thing unfold, some of my friends, even in Israel, are comparing this raid to the Entebbe raid.
Entebbe against what's his name? I'm trying to think of the big
in
fat
terms of
black guy that was in charge over there.
In terms of Idi Amin. Tactical brilliance and bravery, and I mean it's the biggest, most important intervention in Latin America since Panama in '89. Yeah,
let me share with folks about Delta. The man who started Delta, that was started just before we went in to try to take the hostages back from Iran, I'm trying to think of the general's name. I interviewed him. He's a great guy. And things blew up in the desert. And this is the difference between a president that lets his military do what they're supposed to do. What the president's supposed to do is to say, this is what I want done. You get it done. And doesn't put all kinds of rules and regulations on them. Just let them do their job. Well, Carter didn't do that. I'll never forget the head of Delta saying that he was in the war room with Jody Powell and all of them and Carter, and they were talking about they were going to go to the desert. They were going to convene there. They had the Sigorskis and all of that. The Sikorsky is the big double-bladed helicopters you see that look like I always like to say it looks like a flying Oscar Mayer Wiener truck. And they were going to fly them in, pick up the hostages in the mountains close to Tehran. They were going to go over the walls and take out the guards, grab the hostages, and get them out of Dodge. And probably one of the stupidest questions I've ever heard, Jody Powell asked Beckwith, who it was, Colonel Beckwith, and said, "You're going to shoot the guards?" And I'll never forget, Beckwith looked at me, and he was chuckling when he said it. And he said, "You know what I said to him?" I said, "What?" He says, "I asked him, what should I do, spank him?" Of course, things went bad in the desert. They didn't even get to that part of the operation. But I think it would have been just as smooth as what you saw over this last weekend if the politicians had been made to stay out of it, because it was Beckwith wanted to use purple suit pilots, helicopter pilots that had Vietnam experience flying helicopters, and Carter said no, that it was either the Army or the Marines felt like they were getting the short end of the stick and not being given enough to do during it. And so he told Beckwith, "You'll use this branch's helicopter pilots, and you will bring them from this spot." And Beckwith did not want to do that, and probably it was what caused the problems that happened in the desert. So I like the way that Trump did it. I want this done, go do it. And trust your military men and women to take care of it. That's what they practice day in and day out. It's what they're ready to do.
Yeah.
So what do you think is going to be the remainder of all that?
Well, I mean, it's internationally speaking, it's a big deal, right? A lot of people are talking about it. Every country is talking about it. I think overall it's going to be a huge net positive. We're looking at oil, right? Looking at China. China produces about 4 million barrels of oil a day and consumes 15. That's going to be a huge problem for China in terms of oil. So what Trump did here is both a political statement. It says, I can get to you no matter where you are. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to. I wanted to play nice. I gave you more diplomatic, more nicer options, but I also have a big stick.
Yeah, he does.
Right, and I can also use that stick. So what he did was both politically, it's a statement. It sends a statement to the world: we are done playing. You mess around enough, and you're going to find out. Maduro found out. So the first thing I wanted to say was really a huge salute to our deltas. I mean, our military. Wow. In terms of, again, tactical brilliance and bravery, that is one of the best operations, I think, in American history. Both, like you said, it takes months to train for these types of operations. Anyone who thinks otherwise is absolutely mistaken. The number of hours that they had to put into just training and simulations and running drills around what that area looks like, all the intel that had to be gathered prior to even being able to train for the operation is also insane, because that tells you something. We had people operating in Venezuela, right?
We have people on the ground.
On the ground,
exactly right.
Getting information for years and months, right? It tells you something about our intel, right? Which, of course, in the way I see it, Israel and the U.S. are the biggest allies in terms of, well, in every term, but specifically speaking in terms of information sharing and intel sharing, right? So that's one thing. Just blew my mind, right? Wow. The other thing is, of course, the political repercussions of it. It means that we now have the upper hand when it comes to China and Taiwan, right? What's going to happen with China and Taiwan is going to be very, very interesting, because now we kind of took one of China's hands out, right? We're like, hey, it's going to be a lot harder for you now, right? Which is interesting because of what you said earlier about their interest in Russia.
Yeah.
Right?
The oil,
right? Again, produce 4 million barrels of oil a day, and they consume 15. Just a reminder to everyone who haven't watched Landman yet, it's everything has oil in it, right? China's entire industry depends on its ability to consume oil. And I think you and I we talked about Landman in the past. It's very close to reality, right? What Billy Bob Thornton, his scene about oil and the windmills.
When he's standing under the big windmill talking to the woman. Yeah, that was great.
That is very close to reality.
Yeah.
Right? So when you're thinking about China's entire industry, the product industry, right, like the consumer industry, they need oil, right? So in that sense, we got the upper hand now.
Well, if you got plastic, you got oil in it.
Another interesting thing that I wanted to talk about is Cuban intervention with the Maduro raid, because Cuba, we took out 32 of his personal bodyguards.
That's correct.
Who were Cuban. Think about that for a second. Cuban bodyguards. Cuba confirmed it.
Well, let me tell you what. I can tell you how good the Cuban military is from Grenada, all right? Not very good at all. A lot of those guys ended up dead very, very quickly in Grenada, as far as that was concerned. Another something that's happening right now over in Iran. Are the people going to get rid of the Shah?
Well, now if we're talking about the Middle East, there's a lot to uncover there too. But just quickly, obviously you have, I think another huge statement was Trump spending the New Year's with Bibi and Sarah Netanyahu, right? That's another statement. It tells the world Israel is our ally, is our friend. There's a reason why they call the extremists call Israel the small devil, the small Satan, and America the big one, right? Because we do share the same values. We do share those systems of belief and values and things and prosperity and what we want to work hard for and achieve. And that is a bond that will never be severed, right? Like we will always have that. And in fact, it's going to keep growing stronger and stronger. Now, you have deal talks with Syria in Paris, right? You have Paris peace talks with Syria. Now, in that sense, I don't think, obviously, there's no peace in the near future. And again, what does peace really mean? But you have deal talks, right?
Look, when you start talking with the left, you got to have another lexicon. Mm-hmm. Because they're used to certain words are totally different than what most of us use.
And then we have Israel's internal issue is, of course, Hamas. Well, Hezbollah is weakened completely, right? Hezbollah, and it was shown over the past couple of weeks, they definitely don't want Israel attacking. Hezbollah is completely weak. Hamas, though, that's another topic, because they are not disarming. Phase 2 is still not in place. They still haven't returned their last hostage, his body, right? They receive hundreds of aid trucks every day that then they use to sell. They sell it and use the money for, rearming themselves, rebuilding their terror infrastructure. So that's a problem. I think Israelis are looking to America to intervene there, because America does have a stronghold in that sense. At some point, Trump, I think, will actually have to do something about it, which personally, I think he has something in the works. He's just not ready to talk about it, right? But Hamas is a problem. Hamas is absolutely a problem.
Well, we're searching them down in Caracas now. Yeah.
I think there is a bigger play at hand that we're just not aware of right now. So that, you have that going on. But overall, Israel's economy is growing again. Israel is back at it, right? We're looking at people are back at work, back in businesses. There's a lot of hope. People are back with their families, right? We still obviously control up to the yellow line in Gaza. But again, what that looks like and how that's going to unfold, it's going to be interesting to see over the next couple of months. But Israel has never been stronger. Seriously. I mean, when you're looking at Israel right now, it is the strongest nation in the Middle East at this point. Strongest. Now, in terms of the Iranian regime, extremely interesting. if there was ever a time to help them overthrow that regime, it's now, right?
Well, I got to believe that they're teetering over there, not only because of what, Trump and the Israelis did in that very short, a 12-day war, as they call it, but also the people are rearing their heads up. And now Trump helped them out when he said, don't start shooting the protesters or we're going to have a problem.
Right. Don't start shooting. Yep. Don't start shooting. Which, I mean, I think they will. That's their nature. It's almost like telling, it's telling a snake not to bite you, right? It's telling a scorpion not to sting you, right? Like they're going to do it because that's in their nature. And I think the clearest message that I wanted to send is we have our work cut out for us. And 2026 is going to be, in terms of Jewish Arkansas, I can tell you that as the executive director of the Jewish Federation, this is going to be the strongest year in terms of partnership, collaboration with our Christian brothers and sisters, anyone who's willing to come to the table and work with us. We also have something very exciting in the works. We're planning a leadership trip to Israel for both Christians and Jews. Cool. It's going to be a very exclusive trip. Something very special that we're planning for the community in Arkansas. It's going to be around October because we want it to be around the anniversary of the 3-year anniversary from October 7th. It's going to be extremely meaningful and special. A lot is in the works. 2026 is looking super, super bright. And I think, like I always say, and I'm going to finish with that, together is the only way forward. And together is how we're going to show the world that we're not going anywhere. We are not going anywhere. We're going to fight our enemies. We're going to show them, not on our watch. Not on our watch.
The Muslims are attacking, Jewish folks, but they're attacking Christians as well. I mean, if you look at what's going on in Libya,
right?
That's not good. The top third of that country is controlled by the Muslims.
Right.
The middle is kind of a wash, but the southern part of the state is Christian, and that's where they got those 300 kids from and things. I mean, it's not good over there. The president has made some kind of statements that say that I know that he's got his eye on what's going on over there, but as a fellow Christian, I worry about those people. I really do, absolutely.
And that's too, Dave. That's part of why our relationship with our Jewish brethren is so important as Christians. The Judeo-Christian ethics is what Western civilization is built on. And if that goes down, then Western civilization goes down. Well, so we have to keep living and building on those ideals that we share.
And I wholeheartedly, this, I agree with you 100%.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll be right back. We got 10 minutes to go. I got to get my final break in, where Steve is going to have a stroke over in the control room. So I'm taking care of your health, brother. Okay, taking care of your health. Let's take our break here on the Dave Elswick Show. All right, let's finish up our 9 o'clock hour. We've got about 7 minutes here, and talk more about 2026. What are some this leadership trip that you're talking about in October? What exactly are people going to get out of that? What are we talking about when we say it's a leadership conference?
Okay. One of our main visions for our community, right, is to strengthen our bond, right, between our people. And to show people that when you step up, magic happens, right? There's blessing in stepping up and showing that true leadership. So those people that are pivotal to our communities, we want to take them on a journey to Israel. First of all, to see what this community has already done to help Israel, southern Israel.
The Arkansas presence is very strong in Israel, of course, but especially in the south. And in October of 2023, we had an Arkansas mission planned with our friends in Jewish National Fund, and we were going to dedicate one of the projects that we had actually finished in the southern Arava and Elote region, where our friend Richard Summers is from. You've had him on your show.
Right.
But October 7th happened, and that trip had to be canceled. The dedication for what we'd already built wasn't ever able to be finished. But the Arkansas community built an emergency response center in the central Arava, then put in a fortified classroom in the deep, deep south at the Therapeutic Writing Center, servicing children in an entire region. That fortified classroom became the place where evacuees went on October the 7th. So thank God we've done together what we had done. And so now it's time to get back over there, check on our other projects, which, one of those being another emergency response center. Can you imagine in South Israel sending your kids to school and not having a 911 room across the street from the school to where your community isn't even connected to the other communities? So there's still some gaps that as Christians and Jewish people together, we can help fill. The government isn't able to build everything that's needed for all of the resources of the people or for civil defense, but we can do it. It's the Eretz Israel, the land for God's people, where his eyes, it says in Scripture, are continually. When we get involved with the land of Israel, if we act on our Christian Zionism, then we're building Israel. We're building God's favorite place. I mean, there's no denying his eternal covenant with his people and with Israel.
It's his land.
Kathy and I were talking yesterday, and I think one of the things I look forward to the most about this trip is sitting around a campfire, right, in the middle of the night in the desert, looking at the stars. There's something extremely magical about that moment, and just engaging in really meaningful conversation and exploring that land, the land of Israel, from all different types of, views and perspectives, and seeing it through the eyes of Christians, Jews, people that connect all of those dots and see, wow, there is something. And look, I've done it, right? Like, I've led trips, mission trips to Israel for Christian students, for non-Jewish students. And one of the things I love the most is seeing Israel through their eyes, seeing how they respond to it, how they react to it. And every trip, that magic is recreated tenfold because it's so much more powerful. It's so much stronger. And that the bond that you create, I mean, look, a lot of these students are still in touch with me to this day. I write them letters of recommendations to, their jobs after college, right? Like, I talk to them, I give them advice. Imagine the type of relationship that we are going to build between our communities through this trip, exploring not just the faith, the values, the land, the geography, but ourselves. What does it mean to us as a community? And when we come back, the level of just leadership in terms of setting the tone, where do we want to see ourselves as a community in 1 year, in 2 years, in 5 years, in 10 years? What do we want to bring back to Arkansas? And the connection, that spark, that is what I want to see coming back to Arkansas. And I think we owe it to our people, we owe it to our communities to create that spark again, because we had it. We had it, and then the evil, October 7th, the terrorists, the extremists took it away from us. Nobody was able to go to Israel. That trip that was supposed to happen in October 2023 got canceled. So what we're going to do now is create this opportunity for people to say, hey, you want to be a part of this trip? Let's do it together. Let's do it together. Let's explore. Let's recreate that spark. I want the spark, Dave.
All right. You come back on and continue to tell people about that spark, and we'll continue to back you up about it. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks for having
so much.
us.
Kathy, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dave.
Appreciate
Always a
seeing
pleasure.
you. All right, let's take a break. Carlton Wing is up next on the Dave Elswick Show.